Good evening. This meeting held in Roselle Park High School Auditorium is an open session of the Roselle Park Board of Education held under the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, local source, the Home News Tribune, the Borough Clerk, school offices, and district website. Roll call, please.
President Carlstrom,
Here.
Vice President Falcon. Here. Mr. Fernandez,
Here.
Mr. Harms,
Here.
Mr. Hemingway,
Here.
Mix Infante,
Here.
Miss Kirkland. Here. Miss McLeod Cato. Here. And Miss Quintella. Here. We have quorum.
Thank you. Flag salute, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Resolved that the Roselle Park Board of Education meeting hereby convenes to executive session for discussion of the following subjects. Personnel matters. It is anticipated that the executive session will take approximately 30 minutes. The board may take action during public session. The board shall return to public session following executive session at approximately 7 p.m. The minutes of the executive session shall be released to the public when the reason for the executive session no longer exists. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
A second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening and welcome back. We were in executive session for reasons of personnel and student matters. May I now have a motion to go back to the public session?
So moved.
May I have a second? We have a second. Everybody in favor? Aye. Okay, it's time for the public participation. For agenda items only, each member of the public may speak a maximum of 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Seeing no member of the public wishes to speak at this time, we will go on to committee reports. Do we have any committee reports this evening? I would like to say publicly that I attended the performance a week ago Thursday. That was the taped presentation by our students. It was a wonderful presentation, and I sent an email the day after to say that life gives you lemons, and the staff made lemonade out of it this time. And the children did a wonderful job, and we really enjoyed it. I don't know if anyone else had a chance to see it. If not, it is available on YouTube, so I do ask you to take a look at it. Wonderful job, bravo. Now I'd like to turn the microphone over to Mr. Garrido, our superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, staff that are here. Good evening, board members. Thank you, Mrs. Carlstrom. Is this on? Okay. This evening, the superintendent's report is in three parts, all important, but the most important part comes first, and that is the recognition of the staff. Prior to 2020 and prior to COVID, we did this every June. We recognized the educators of the year, and we recognized people who made impact on the school year. And I'm so happy to be able to be doing this back again. Last year, obviously, we couldn't do this. It was a very challenging time for everyone, but more so for us here as educators because of the impact that we have on students. And that certainly, you know, we heard the term essential worker so often and heroes so often, and rightfully so. People that were certainly in the front lines when the pandemic started and they were saving lives. But I really feel that that term goes beyond just the frontline workers, and it goes to the educators and most importantly, the teaching staff and the support staff that's here. You know, I've said over and over again in my staff meetings that, you know, the job that we do behind the scenes and the administration and so forth is important, but is nothing ever like what you did this past 15 months. You were asked to first, within a few days of the pandemic, you were asked to teach virtually, something that you never did before. No one ever did. And then you were asked to start virtual and go into hybrid, which made it even more difficult because you did two different tasks. You taught in person and you taught virtually as well. And this goes for everyone in the audience here today. And then, of course, as we reopened phase 3, more challenges came along. There were times where we needed to shut down classes or just do a lot of contact tracing and making sure that the safe and health of our students and our staff was, you know, a number one priority. So I am so pleased to be able to recognize the people that are here today. I'm really excited to do this in person. And I didn't want to forget last year's Educators of the Year, because last year, although it was different up to March, it certainly required a lot of work. And I believe the entire staff should be here this evening being recognized because the efforts and the commitment to our students was above and beyond what I ever would expect people to do. And you did it. So I'm going to start with the 2019-2020. And by the way, tomorrow night we are having our staff celebration event. It's going to be virtual, unfortunately, because the group was just too big. 2 months ago, when we had a plan for this, we didn't have the new guidelines that we have today. But it's just going to be as celebratory as it would be in person. And I urge everyone to please tune in. It's really going to be special. The speeches were wonderful, and just the recognition from each of the administrator was really done very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the 2019-2020 Governor's Educator of the Year. And these are the service professional recognition. A few years ago, the state of New Jersey, the governor decided to recognize educators. From two different areas. One, the service professional, which is a support staff, nurses, counselors, related service, paraprofessionals, office staff, and so forth. And the other one is a teaching staff. So in 2019-2020, these people were recognized. So I'm going to ask you to please stand when your name is called, and then I will get the certificates over. She would have them come up. Is this safe? You know what? If I can have Mrs. Costrom come up and we'll give the certificates out. If you can come up, that'll be great. We have three paras on 2019, three paraprofessionals that in the year 2019, 2020 were recognized. Paraprofessionals have a very important task in school districts. They support the teachers. They work with students one-on-one or in class support. And if they weren't there, students with special disabilities would not have that one-to-one attention that they deserve and they need. And they are successful due to these paras. From Aldine School, Mary Kessler. Please come up, Mary. Yeah, just be careful, man. Congratulations. Nice. From Sherman Elementary School, Lisa Heinrich. Congratulations. Nice job. Nice job. Thank you. From Robert Gordon, last year's paraprofessional. Actually, she's this year's secretary. She made a little transfer from one year to the other and doing a wonderful job there also. Lynn Matthews. Congratulations, Lynn. And actually, I said three para, it's four. However, she cannot be here tonight, but I know she's, I believe, watching on the live stream. And she's also have moved to a different position, Dina Miawad. And from the high school, guidance counselor, who's been here actually 39 years, and I know this is her retirement year. She started as a teacher in Sherman, and in 2006 became the high school counselor. And I just a little side story. I attended the National Honor Society induction last week, and Ms. Bauman was there. She gave a speech, and I can just tell how she is appreciated by her students and the parents as well. Mary, well deserved, Mary Bauman. Congrats, man. Okay, last year's Governor's Educator of the Year, the Teacher of the Year. From Aldine, fourth grade, this teacher is held in very high esteem by her colleagues. And actually, I had the privilege of observing this teacher, I think a couple of times over the last 5 years or so. And she's truly a highly effective teacher at Aldine. Grade 4, Miss Andrea Cruz. Oh, there's one of those there. I know Mary put it in. No, those are the nurses. That might be them. I hope. That's it. Congratulations. Congratulations. From Robert Gordon, grade 5, Kristen is dedicated in making learning fun and supports her colleagues. She makes the school a better place for her students and staff, and she does that day in and day out. Kristen Kubaba. Congratulations. Okay, from Sherman School, special education teacher. Allie knows that her students' social emotional learning comes first, and the needs of her students is a priority. She is most knowledgeable in learning theory, teaching methodologies, and educational resources, which enable her to be the most respected mentor to staff and parents alike. Alexandra Swartz. Congratulations. Okay, I know Eileen cannot be here tonight. From the middle school, Ms. Carroll leaves a permanent print in all of her students' academic careers, as well as their social and emotional well-being, which this past year or 2 years was very critical for our students. From the middle school, Eileen Carroll. And last year's Teacher of the Year at the high school, Jonathan, Mr. Silverlight is dedicated to his students both in and out of the classroom. I probably see him more than anybody else in this district. He's all over the place. He's either walking from one building to the other or so. As a special education teacher, he excels in helping all of his students succeed and forms positive and lifelong relationships. The 2019-2020 High School Teacher of the Year, Jonathan Silverlight. Congratulations. Good job. Okay, so I think this is 20. Yep. Okay, moving on to 2020, 2021. Once again, these teachers did heroic work this year due to the pandemic, and we all know how difficult it was for all of us. So here are the service professionals or the support staff who were the candidates for Educator Service Professional of the Year. From Aldine School, Stephanie has had incredible success working with students with special language and speech disabilities, and she has been extremely successful with all of the students. From Aldine School, the Service Professional of the Year, Stephanie Klein. Nice job. I know he couldn't be here tonight, and it's not attending. He did not attend, but I think he may be watching from home. From Robert Gordon, paraprofessional. He once again, as a paraprofessional, assists those students, whether it's one-to-one or in class support, and really impacts the student learning. Andres Cordova. Another paraprofessional. That's how I'll tell you, that's how valuable they are. From the middle school, once again, incredible support to the teachers and the entire middle school building. Deborah Italiano. And she's not attending tonight. She's watching from home. From the high school, our library media center has really become the hub at the high school. It's such an important place to be for the students. We have a maker space there, and really the library media program has improved so much since Jennifer Lemke came to Roseville Park School District. So the service professional for the high school is Ms. Jennifer Lemke, Librarian Media Specialist. Congratulations. Nice job. From Sherman School, and this is a double winner here tonight. This year's Service Professional of the Year. And I'll talk a little bit more about Ms. Karnick in a few minutes when I recognize the nurses. But for Sherman School, the Professional Service Professional of the Year, Carrie Karnick. Teachers of the Year for 2021. From Aldine School, she is a great K-5 technology teacher. And in the midst of the pandemic, as you know, technology was invaluable. Jennifer was always the go-to person for the staff, for the parents, and especially for the students. And she was recognized as Aldine Teacher of the Year, Jennifer Durkin. Congratulations. Okay, from Sherman School, grade 5 social studies teacher. Katie continuously finds ways to keep her students intrigued and engaged in her lesson. I also had the privilege of observing Katie maybe 2 or 3 times. I'm forgetting, but boy, that was a really creative classroom. I was sitting in one of those bouncy seats in the classroom. It was amazing, and I can see why she was chosen Teacher of the Year, Sherman, Katie Cherico. Congratulations. From Robert Gordon, I know she's not attending tonight, the grade K-5 technology, TNG, and creative thinking teacher. Christine has gone above and beyond to support parents, teachers, and especially students during virtual and hybrid learning. Robert Gordon's Teacher of the Year, Christine Beaver. From the middle school, I know she's not attending, but she's watching right there in the camera. Grade 6 to 8 ESL teacher. I also had the privilege of observing Rosa in the middle school, and Rosa is being recognized for her dedication and passion in educating the bilingual ESL students at the Roselle Park Middle School. And the students really, really love her class. I've sat there and I can see the love and the passion that she has for her students in the class. Rosa Iglesias Blasquez. From the high school, science biology teacher. Dennis is a master of his content, a lifelong learner and leader at the high school in our school community as well. And incidentally, this year, he was also selected the County Teacher of the Year out of 81 candidates from throughout the county. Dennis Tagunas not only is the high school Teacher of the Year, but also the Union County Teacher of the Year. So Dennis, congratulations. And you're welcome. Thank you. We wish Dennis good luck as he moves on now as a candidate for State Teacher of the Year. If he wins, we have to, he's on loan with the state, so we may have to lose him for a little while because he travels quite a bit throughout the state of New Jersey. Good luck, Dennis. And let's do it for Roselle Park, right? Go Panthers. Okay, and now I want to recognize the school nurses. We had 2 in-district transmission of COVID in this district in 15 months. And that's not by accident, I can tell you that much. I asked Ms. Romello, who supervises the nurses, and I as the nurses to make sure that our students and staff are kept healthy and safe. Not only did they do that, they went above and beyond to make sure that our district was probably the safest that I know in Union County. And I couldn't thank him enough. And I'll tell you this, I was on the phone with a couple of the nurses on a Saturday and a Sunday, on a Tuesday night and a Thursday night. They always picked up the phone. They always reached out to the people they needed to reach out, and they were outstanding. We wouldn't have done it. We would not have been kept as healthy and safe if it wasn't for school nurses in the District of Roselle Park. So I want to recognize them one by one, and I'm going to call the name. If they can please come up. I have a certificate for you as well. And I want to thank you for the service and all that you've done. You really, really have been heroes to our school district here this year. And the parents, the staff, and the students appreciate the work that you've done. And I want to thank you. From Aldine School, Alyssa Hussey. Congratulations. From Robert Gordon School, Ana Cuellar Pereira. From the middle school, Brenda Litterer. Nice job. From the high school, Patricia Soto. Congratulations. Okay, from Sherman School, Carrie Karnick, and Carrie, just a couple words. Carrie was selected for volunteer. I don't know why she would want to volunteer, but she was the liaison between the district and the Union County Health Department. And again, she did an amazing job in making sure that a district followed the guidance from the health department, that contact tracing was done in every school building. And I truly appreciate, Carrie, thank you for the service and for the work. I know that, you know, we spoke on several occasions way after school hours, and I thank you for that. Carrie Karnick. Congratulations again. Thank you so much. Yep, thank you. All right, so again, I want to congratulate all of you. Actually, I want to congratulate the entire staff. I will do that tomorrow night during our celebration, staff celebration. But I truly want to thank you. You are the best in what you do. You deserve this. You're very well deserving of this. Thank you so much. And as we tell the students at the end of recognitions and presentations, I'm going to send you home now so you can work on your lesson plans and all of that. You don't have to be here that late. So, but I want to thank you for coming. We really appreciate. Keep up the good work. We, the board, and I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you so much. If you want to stay, you can, but it's Okay, board members, I'm going to present a PowerPoint, so if you can either sit in the front or you can turn around, either way. It is a long superintendent's report tonight. I apologize, but we have to do it. It's part of the requirement from the state, so whether you like it or not. I know you like everything short. I apologize. I'm so short. Okay, everyone, this is the time of the night that we present the school performance report for the 2019-2020 school year. This report, and actually a more in-depth report, is posted on the website for each individual school as well as the district. This is a condensed presentation, because if not, Mr. Harms will just chase me out of the auditorium. So it's a condensed presentation, but I think it's important for you to know that, Chris, pass it on. The school performance report has really two purposes. Number one is to inform parents, to keep parents informed of how the school district is doing, and really to ensure that we are doing what we're supposed to do to ensure equity across all of our students. And number two, it's also used for reporting purposes, for compliance. Okay, and I want to begin by saying we are not in any way target school or a school of needs of improvement. None of our schools are. We have met all of the criteria that the state has set. Obviously, this year, if you can go on, Chris, COVID, like everything else, has impacted the school performance report. There are a couple of data points that are not on there. For example, the data on student growth, the data on assessment. And if you remember, the state postponed those assessments last year, so they could not have one for 2020. Okay, so you're going to see data for the 17-18 school year, 18-19 school year. But we will certainly be looking at that as well. Chris? Okay. So some of the areas that this report is not going to include, or if you look at the reports online, you're not going to see the statewide assessment data. It's not there. You're not going to see the growth data. And you're not going to see attendance data, because that was also waived last year. If you remember, the attendance was waived because of the 3 months that we were virtual. And the accountability measures, you will not see the indicator scores, status in meeting annual targets or standards, or so forth. Chris? Okay, what kinds of information does the school performance report typically include? Typically, not this year because some of the reporting is not there. School and district overviews, demographic information, student growth, academic achievement, college and career readiness, graduation and post-secondary information, school climate and environment, staff information, school accountability, school and district narrative information. Okay, the first one is on student enrollment. And if you look there, that's there for the 3 years. In 17-18, we had 2,063 students enrolled, and that they used the October 15 count. Okay, that's as of October 15. We went down in 18-19 to 2019, and then way back up in 2020 to 2087. We're about that right now. We're about 2060 something right now, I believe. Maybe a little bit lower because we did lose some students. And here are some of the demographics. It really hasn't changed much over the last 3 years. If you can see, economically disadvantaged, just about the same, couple little tenths of percentage points. Students with disability has edged up a little bit from 16% to 18% in 2019-2020. English learners, about the same. As a matter of fact, we took a little dip this past year, or last year. Homeless students, again, almost the same. Students in foster care, military connected students, and migrant students, they just wanted the community to know what is our student population and demographics. Here it is. Student growth. When they came up with the accountability reports, I believe this is the most important piece that they put in, because it just doesn't look at the entire school scores or entire grade level or so, and they don't compare year to year. They are now comparing student growth percentile, where they were, that cohort or group, where they were 1 year, and then how they did the following year. You really can track progress when you use this type of data. Okay, as you can see here, the trajectory that we've had in the 2 years prior to COVID is moving up or moving north. And I can tell you that if we would have had an assessment, if it was a typical school year, we would have continued to see that same growth that we see in there. We went in ELA from 41% to 54% student growth. In math, a little bit less, 57 to 59%. We cannot report on 2019, 2020. And as you can see, we're below. In 17, 18, we're below the state median student growth. In 18, 19, we were above. We went from 41%, 54. The statewide growth was 50, and we're above by far in the math in both 17, 18 and 18, 19. So we were hoping to continue the same trajectory as you see there. Okay, again, school assessment results, we can only see the 2 years, but there are 3 different kinds of student assessment that the state uses. Number 1 is the NJSLA, which is a student learning assessment. The dynamic learning maps, which is for students with severe disabilities that cannot take the NJSLA, and then the Access for ELS, which is an ESL bilingual test for English proficiency, English language proficiency. And here we have the proficiency rate for the 2 years that prior to the COVID year. 17, 18, 52.1 in ELA, 18, 19, 55.5, and in math, 42.4 to 47.1. We did, again, see growth in our statewide assessment proficiency. Okay, we're still below, just a little bit in 18, 19 from the state proficiency, and we were above in math at 47.1 to 44.5 in the statewide proficiency. All right, another measure that the state looks at school districts is the graduation rates. They want to see graduation rates really above 90%. Obviously, last year, the pathways to graduations were waived, and they had to earn a state endorsed or regular diploma by August 31st, not by the graduation date. So it changed. COVID-19 and Executive Order 117 did change things a little bit for students graduating. But we can see the graduation rates in the next slide. So you can see there the 4-year graduation rate trends. We are way above the state graduation rate on 95.7, 96.1, and 95. And they also have a 5-year graduation rate for those that do not graduate 4 years. And obviously we have 96, way above the state cohort of 92.4, 92.5, and 92.2. So we're meeting that criteria as well. Okay, here is where I want to talk a little bit about. And those of you that are in the curriculum committee, and I think most of you, I think we talked about this in many of our discussions that we've had in terms. We are behind in certain areas from the state level in college and career readiness. And this report just started probably just a few years ago. We're a little bit behind moving. We have moved quite a bit in this past year, and you may not see really the results of it in another year or so, but we're starting to see results already. The SAT participation, school is above the state at 77. And now, of course, if you have a high SAT participation, that means that ACT is not going to be as high because most of our students take the SATs. Our students, percentage of 11th and 12th grade students enrolled in one or more advanced placement. Okay, we have 21.8, 35.7 is the state. And then 0% in dual enrollment coursework. And I know you've heard about this. I'm going to talk a little bit about it in a minute. And CTE concentrators below as well, 1.4. And number of students earning industry value credential, it's non-existent even at the state level, 0.7. And then CO by literacy, 0. However, this year we improved that number there by 200%. Okay, we had 2 students gain the CLO by literacy, and CLO by literacy is that students who they have endorsement in English and in another language or 2 other languages. Okay, they get a C on the diploma that they are they have the CO by literacy. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of those numbers there and what we're doing to make sure that that report represents what the high school is really doing. The high school administration is working hard and with Ms. Callis as well, who has brought some of her knowledge from other districts in terms of high school to our district here and really working with the administration to make sure that we have. We have partnered, okay, with Fairleigh Dickinson University in order to provide dual enrollment coursework for our students. And we work in other colleges as well. So what we will see is that dual enrollment percentage go up. So that is definitely something that we are looking to do. The district will also, it's continue to expand our dual enrollment offerings. In addition, the district is seeking CTE program of study approval from the state to a 3-year course sequence in architectural, which is our big program at the high school, and also in photography as well for the next year. So you're going to see that CTE concentration continue to go up. And of course, we have the 2 students that, and we are raising also the number of students that are enrolled and take the test in AP testing as well. We have increased those numbers so that 21.8% will also increase. And our goal and our target is to be, our percentage to be above the statewide percentage. So you will see this in the coming years moving up. Chris? Okay, here we are, visual and performing arts. We're right there with the state in most of it. 6th through 8th graders, 93.2 are participating, enrolled in arts courses. The state is 89.3. And then we have the music, a little bit below in the middle school, way above in dance. We have hired a dance teacher, way above. Drama, we don't have it at the middle school. We will next year. You got that right. So that's going to go up as well. You're taking my talking points away now, Ms. Falcon there. And visual arts, we are way above the state level at the middle school with 93.2%. And then we move to the high school, we're 6 to 12, we're above the state average, 65.3 to 51%. Just go back a minute, Chris. Okay. Music courses, we're above the state average. We're a little bit below in dance, but that's an elective, so students who would like to take that. And then in drama courses, we're just about the state average. And in visual arts, we're way above. So our visual arts program here is way above the state level. Okay, here we see, and this is where really I take pride. The table there shows information about class of 2019 high school graduates enrolled in post-secondary institution by the fall of 2020. Look at the state average on the right. Okay, we're just about the total population, but if you look, we're above in every subgroup that's there, with the exception of the Asian Native Hawaiian. Total population is 76.8. Okay, white 86%, Hispanic 70.5, Black or African American 76.9, full 10%, almost 11% above the state average, and 80% with the Asian Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander. And then, of course, we don't have enough for the American Indian or 2 or more races. But we're moving in the right direction. We'll continue to move in that direction, making sure that post-secondary enrollment continues to climb. Student safety is a big part of this report as well. And as you can see, we really have very few incidents, and these have to be reported. So it's what we report. So violence 4, and that it's a fight or anything that is considered violent will be reported. Vandalism 1, weapons 1, substances 1, harassment, intimidation, this was last year 13, and total unique incidents 19, which is all of them there, and incidents per 100 is below 1%, 0.91%, where the state is 1.32%. So we're below the state average there also. And of course, we take incredible pride for this slide here, okay? Several years ago, I probably stood up here, given my rationale and my reasons why we need to have full day kindergarten, because the district only had half day of half day kindergarten. And I went over quite a bit of research and support for that. And, the board at the time approved it. And I think it has been an incredible, successful story. And of course, the grant that we received from the state certainly benefited our younger students. And this is the foundation of their education. And we moved, as you can see, in 17, 18, 31 half-day pre-K to 26, and then full day 19 to 20, and 19, 20, it's all full day preschool. There's no half-day preschool. So both kindergarten and preschool is full day. Not too many districts have that, okay? There are a lot of districts that still can only, especially preschool, have a half-day preschool. We are given the opportunity for those students to experience 500 additional hours a year, as I did my research, of experience, not instruction, of experience in schools. And that is really a cap to, the administration here, the board for supporting it, and really working hard. I don't know if Ms. Legner is here tonight, but she is the supervisor of preschool, and again, doing an excellent job all around. And here we have student support and services, the ratio between staff and students. And basically, we do not have the state, but I know that we have a better ratio than the state in most of these areas. Students to teachers, 11 to 1. Most districts probably north of 15. So library media, 1,000, we have the 2. And nurses, 417 to 1. We have 1 in each building. Counselors, we have the 3 at the high school, 2 at the middle school, and then each elementary, 261 to 1. A lot of school districts are probably 500 to 1 in terms of counselors. And child study team, 232 to 1. Okay. All right, and I believe that's it. Okay, that was informative, Mr. Harms. All right. Well, I have more. Don't go. I have more. It's another year. Oh, no. Actually, I don't know if there are any questions, but this performance report, it's really important for the districts, because it does give you evidence of what you're doing, and it gives you the data necessary to make improvement. And I really, the state has given out reports for years. And, 15, 20 years ago, I remember sitting down and I said, These reports do absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing. You know, during the No Child Left Behind and all that. These reports are worth looking at. These reports are worth looking to see how we can improve every year. And we're doing it, as you can see, our college and career is our goal now. And when we sit here in the next year or 2 or 3, you're going to see huge improvement in that area there. Okay, the last part of the superintendent's report, again, a requirement from the state. It's our, and if I can find it here, you can give me a second. You can take a break for a second. Here it is. Okay. Our LEA plan for safe return to in-person instruction. There are 3 parts really to this. Okay. Most of it is already in our reopening plan. However, because of funding that came from the federal government, which of course is the ARP Act, which is American Rescue Plan Act, and then in addition to the ESSER funds, which we have been receiving, there was ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and now the federal, there's $122 billion that went to school districts, okay, throughout the country. And, you know, it's our responsibility that we share with you how we're going to be spending this money or what we're going to do with the money. And this is part of the accountability for the for that act and so forth. But if you look at the reopening plan, most of it is there. And it's really 3 parts that they want us to look at. One is maintaining health and safety. The second one is ensuring continuity of services. And the third one is an opportunity for public comment, which is the reason why we have a public comment section. Maintaining health and safety. What have we been doing? What are we doing? Or what are we going to do? Well, a lot of it depends on the guidance from the Department of Health, right? And the Department of Education. This is fluid, and this will probably be changing over the next 2 months. I can guarantee you that. And every time it changes, we need to report it to you. So we need to have this type of meeting as well. So maintaining health and safety, what have we been doing? What are we required to do as of today? Universal and correct wearing of masks. The governor says, with the exception of the heat, extreme heat, it says that schools during school activities, students and staff must continue to wear a mask. As of today, that has to be in our plan. We have to make sure that we have that we're wearing. But again, this can change from day to day, week to week. So come September, it could be completely different. Number 2, physical distancing, including use of cohorts and potting. Okay, what does that mean? We're going to use our 3 feet, the same as the CDC tells us that we have to use it. And if we are closer than 3 feet, we're going to have barriers. So what we're going to do, we're planning for next year to have full day, full schedule, lunch, however, is going to have to be, as of now, with either barriers or 3 feet apart, because that is still what the CDC and the New Jersey Department of Health is requiring schools to have. Of course, hand washing and respiratory etiquette. We want to make sure that we have signs for hand washing. We have areas where students can wash. In the classroom, we're going to make sure that there's antibacterial sanitizers because that's still part of the practice that the DOH and the CDC wants us to have. Cleaning and maintaining healthy facilities, including improving ventilation. We're going to continue doing what we've been doing in terms of cleaning every night, making sure we do cleaning when there's gatherings and they leave between groups, because we need to continue to do that. We use all kinds of multi-purpose cleaners to make sure they kill the virus or the bacteria or the viruses that can cause COVID or anything else. We're going to continue to try to improve ventilation. You know, we have put HEPA filters in rooms where the ventilation is poor, where there's no air conditioning. We're going to try to improve ventilation in other areas of the buildings as well. We will continue to do that. Contact tracing in combination with isolation and quarantine in collaboration with the state, local, and territorial. During the recognitions of the nurses, you heard, they have done an amazing job. We work with the local Department of Health to help us with contact tracing, to help us with quarantining classes, quarantining individuals. We'll continue to do that until they tell us that it's not necessary anymore. Diagnostic and screening testing. Screening will take place the same as we've been doing. The forms will continue until they tell us that we don't need to do that anymore. We're doing it once a month. We'll probably continue to do it during that time. And of course, the nursing will be making diagnostic health assessments as needed as well. Efforts to provide vaccinations to educators, all the staff and students if eligible. On a website, you go, every time there's some kind of vaccination event, we post it. We send the information out. And on top of that, I asked the nurse to send me weekly surveys, and obviously this is voluntary, of staff members that have been fully vaccinated. We're about 55%, by the way, as of the last report that I received. Again, that will continue to happen. So we will continue to provide vaccination information as it comes. And of course, appropriate accommodations for children with disabilities with respect to the health and safety policies. Any accommodations for high-risk students, whether including special education, that are medically fragile, we will work with them. They would have to send a request to the Director of Special Services, and we will honor the request as soon as we review and make sure that everything is up to par. So the district will follow the guidance for schools established by the CDC and the Department of Health. Ensuring continuity of services. It's all about screening. We are actually, there's a bill, legislation, that requires that grade 6 to 12 students be screened for depression, as you know. We will be screening students for mental health. Our counselors will be on top of it. Our social emotional programs will continue as they are for both students and parents. We will continue also to train teachers and to help teachers identify any mental health concerns. We will also provide teachers with self-care type of practices, because they need to be provided with support as well. What are we doing academically? We started doing it already. We're spending money on tutoring programs. We're spending money on after-school programs. We are doing assessments using our assessment tool, Link It, to make sure, and requesting information from the classroom teachers, using multiple measures to provide students with the areas where there was loss of learning. Okay, so we will continue to do this not only this summer, throughout next year as well. So we are going to address every single area of social, emotional, mental health, and academic needs as they come along. And that's where we will be putting all of our ESSER funding for social, emotional, academic, and health and safety for the entire district. And we're starting to do that already. As a matter of fact, we have met with the facilities committee on some of the projects that we have planned or scheduled for the next few months in terms of ventilation in our buildings. And we have been meeting, the curriculum committee knows about some of the programs that we are working on or planning for the summer and the following year. And that is it. Now I know that is required to open up for questions. So if anyone has any questions regarding the safe return plan, please come up and state your name and address. But I will also ask, no, it's got to be done that way. I will ask the board if they have any questions as well. Marissa? No, you don't have to, your board member. Mhm. That's a good question, and I don't have the details yet. I know the legislation passed. We probably will get guidance from the DOE in the next couple of weeks before September to see how that's going to be handled, whether it's going to be an online tool or it's going to be an in-person tool or survey, as you said, a questionnaire possibly. I know hospitals and physicians are using questionnaires. You know, even full physical now, they want to see your mental state, so they are using that. So I have a feeling that that's probably going to be the same for school districts. If anyone has any comments, any questions regarding the Save Return Plan, be more than happy to answer it. And seeing that there are none, the superintendent's report is now over. It was a long one. It's a long one. As quick as possible. Mouthful. That was a mouthful, yeah.
At this time, I'd like to give one more opportunity for any member of the public who would have a question on the Safe Return Plan that was just presented. Okay, now we will close that portion and continue with the agenda. We're on agenda item 1 under policy, district policy adoption. May I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion?
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Falcon. Yes. Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway, Ms. Infante,
Yes.
Ms. Kirkland,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella. Abstention. And President Colstrom.
Yes. Now we're going to move on to personnel, agenda items 2 through 20 and addenda items 1 through 4. Number 2, appointments. 3, substitute salaries. 4, staff appointments. 5, leave of absence extension request. 6, staff retirement. 7, staff list. 8, summer remediation program. 9, retirement compensation. 10, diagnostic assessments. 11, employment contracts. 12, employment contract school business administrator board secretary. 13, 2021 ESY program. 14, job description. 15, fall 2021 sports physical personnel. 16, athletic coaches 2021-2022. 17, change of assignment transfer. 18, maternity leave of absence request. 19, Title I AP summer tutoring. 20, district substitutes. The addenda, personnel, staff appointments. Number 1. Number 2, additional high school extracurricular advisors, 2020-2021. Number 3, 2021 additional ESY program for district substitutes. May I have a motion to approve the personnel section?
I'll make a motion.
A second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Falcon. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Mix Infante,
Yes.
Ms. Kirkland,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella,
Yes.
and President Crossrum.
Yes. Now, education, agenda items 21 through 23. 21, education programs 2021, 2022. 22, ESY education programs 2021. 23, safe return plan. May I have a motion to approve the education section?
Make a motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Falcon. Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms.
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Mix Infante,
Yes.
Ms. Kirkland,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella,
Yes.
and President Crossrum.
Yes. Business, agenda items 24 through 42 and addenda item 5. 24, monthly certificate. 25, approval of bills. 26, approval of minutes. 27, use of facility fees for 2021, 2022. 28, district contracts for 2021, 2022. 29, grant application 2022. Number 30, state contract vendors 2021, 2022. 31, award of contracts, cooperative pricing system. 32, award of contracts, cooperative pricing system. 33, awards of contracts, cooperative pricing system. 34, anticipated contracts to be renewed, awarded, or to expire. 35, authorization to offer contracts. 36, line item transfers, bill pay authorization. 37, capital reserve. 38, 2020, 2021 scholarship awards. 39, use of building and grounds. 40, secretary treasurer reports. 41, use of facility agreement. 42, budget transfers. And we continue with 5. Use of building and grounds under business. And at this time, I have a motion to approve business.
Make a motion.
May I have a second? And roll call, please.
Vice President Falcon. Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms. Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Mix Infante,
Yes.
Ms. Kirkland,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Ms. Quintella,
Yes.
and President Crossrum.
Yes. Continuing business. Any of my colleagues have any continuing business to bring up?
Just a huge thank you, President Colstrom, to Ms. Marmello. I had the pleasure of serving with her on the Equity Committee in the brief time that I've got to know her. It's been a pleasure, and just thank you for your service to the district.
Yes, and a well-deserved retirement come this August 1st. Thank you, Mrs. Marmello. Any new business from my colleagues here on the dais?
Ms. Colstrom, just to recognize the teachers and staff today that were acknowledged. Just want to say from the board, we thank them and appreciate them very much.
Yes, and it was great to be back to normal, to actually be able to see somebody and hand them a certificate. It almost seemed like an antibody experience. So it was nice to see and have people again in the audience and to reach out and see people. Thank you. Okay, so it's time for public participation at this time. Would any member of the audience like to come and make a comment? And when you do, please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Francesca Hunt. I reside at 620 Large Street.
I know that the Board of Ed has decided to conduct these meetings in person.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hunt, can
Oh.
you speak up? I don't know if the,
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
a little bit.
Okay. I'll try to speak a little loud. I'm soft-spoken. Like I said, I know that the Board of Ed has decided to conduct these meetings in person. I'm just wondering though, has the board considered conducting these meetings in a hybrid model where participants can still join online via Zoom or whatever, whatever other platform and have the opportunity to still participate during the public portion of the meeting? I know personally for me, viewing the live stream, the last few board meetings have been difficult. For example, at the last board meeting, the live stream didn't begin until about 7:20-ish or so. I kept refreshing my page. I wasn't sure if you guys were still in executive session. Usually there's a message there if you are, but there was no message there. Also, Mr. Salvo's curriculum presentation was extremely hard for me to hear. The sound quality was very poor. My volume was on 100. I had it as high as I could on my laptop, but it was very difficult to keep track with that. And that was a bit frustrating because, he was discussing with the coaches about curriculum, which is critical and important. And I missed some of that key information because I just couldn't hear. The sound was pretty poor. Thirdly, it's also to my understanding that the public is no longer even allowed to email any questions now or comments that they have concerning items on the agenda or questions or comments for the public portion of the meeting. I was told that because you're in person now, that has been done away with. So I don't know if anyone could explain a little bit further why that was taken away as well. And I just feel that overall, by the board not offering this hybrid for participants to continue to participate through Zoom and not allowing the community to email questions or concerns as well, it is having a negative impact on parent involvement and community involvement. Yes, I'm sure we all can agree that there are many disadvantages to Zoom. Your screen freezes. You lose that face-to-face interaction, which I totally understand. But at the same time, there were some advantages that came out of this and that evolved from this platform. And I think one of those advantages from a parent point of view is that it made it easier for us to attend these board meetings. It made it more convenient. And it literally allowed all of us to participate, every single parent. I'm talking about from the parent who didn't have a babysitter, right? That probably couldn't even come tonight because no one to watch their kids. They were able to still dial in at home. For the parent who had to drop their kid off to extracurricular activities and have jam-packed schedules, I know that's been me. I'm able to call in from the phone still and see what's going on. So, I just feel like it allowed us to have more of an opportunity to be engaged, to be involved. And honestly, I saw a lot of more participation actually from parents on the Zoom call than I did ever here in person. So listen, just as
Thank
our
you.
children need
Thank you, Ms.
support,
Hunt.
parents need the support too, and the convenience and flexibility. That's
Thank
all.
you again.
Thank you.
If any member of the public would like to make a comment, you have the time now. Seeing none, I'd like to have a motion for an adjournment at this time.
So moved.
A second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next scheduled board meeting will be a closed session held on Tuesday, June 29th, 2021 at 7 p.m. The board meeting will be held at the Roselle Park High School Auditorium. Thank you. Have a good 2 weeks.